Hey, how's it doing, everybody? So, I just wanted to address something. So, first world society makes everything about materialism. Even all the religions that a person can be a part of are fundamentally centered around materialism. The person who's in charge is always right, no matter what evidence there is, and if you're in charge, you can do whatever you want. This can be misunderstood. For example, if a person is more powerful than one another, in some cases that means they're right, but for the most part, first world society's got it completely wrong. But anyway, what this does essentially to the conscious mind, to the mind of a true fighter or a true warrior, it makes it confused. It confuses the mind because when you're out of tune with the natural world and the real world, actually, what provides you with every breath and every bite of food and every drink of water that you could ever possibly want in the future, and then erases it and then puts an artificial version right out in front of you as though it's the actual real one. It confuses a person. It does things like progressively inhibits peripheral vision. And so when a coattail wearing, well-dressed thug dresses up all nicely before a crowd of directors, and they start spewing out whatever they want, and things like fake money and stuff, then that confuses the rest of the population. And a lot of people have talked about this. I'm not going to go deep into it, but get involved in the natural environment that you were originally a part of. And this is no joke. It's not a funny thing at all. It's not even a pleasant thing. But most societies have convinced, most first world societies, I should say, have convinced all its members that in order to grow up and to be a powerful human being, you have to do what the person right above you has told you to do. That's what they try and get you to believe. That's not the case at all. And for the most part, the heritage of most people in first world countries has been completely scrubbed. It's been scrubbed by religions. It's been scrubbed by family genealogies. Entire genealogies have been rewritten to suit the agendas of the state, which is often promoted by religions themselves. And so I just wanted to make you aware that if you want to become a real warrior, then you're going to have to overcome this thing, and you're going to have to get in tune with reality. And the complete antithesis of this would be that most Asian peoples had, and I hope nobody gets offended by this, that, well, a lot of Asian, there were not just Asian-looking people, what we think of today as Asian-looking people in Asia a long time ago. There were also white people in India and Asia as well. But anyway, back to my point. The point is that the peoples of China and Asia have kept very well-written records of their genealogies, and unfortunately, there are a lot of good things to say about the West. A lot of the Western people have allowed the state, through the means of multi-generational trauma, convinced them to rewrite their family histories, to get rid of the old pagan ideals, and to rewrite their family histories in such a way that they would give more allegiance to the state, or make it look like the state was your mommy or your daddy, and getting rid of all the old natural oriented ideas. In the olden times, if you had a group of warriors and one of them was in charge, he always had to watch his back, because if someone else thought that he was too weak to to be the leader or unskilled enough in his methodologies to actually lead the people, to actually lead the army or the military force, then they could challenge him. And if they won, then they would be the new leader. This is how things operated. This is a much better system than the follow the leader thing that oftentimes we have in the West, and unfortunately we have in first world countries. This is where it's at. This is what they followed, and back in especially eastern regions. And this is an idea that actually makes sense, instead of following somebody who just decided to lead a certain number of people one day for their own reasons. Kind of along those same lines, society has kind of convinced us that whenever a person is eating, that it has to be a cooked thing. Like whenever you're going to the kitchen to make something, some sort of food, that it has to be called cooking. You're cooking a meal. You see where I'm going with this? And so that's kind of along those same lines. Whereas whenever that kind of gives people the idea of commercialization. It's the idea of commercialization, that whenever that everything has to be produced, that nothing can come from its natural environment. This lowers a man or a woman. This decreases them. It makes a man less manly and such and such. For anyone to involve themselves heavily in civilization and to make civilization a part of themselves. This decreases a person heavily. And so no, food is not cooked to be eaten. Back in the day, foragers would just pull things off of trees. So no, we don't need this heavily civilized, or whatever you want to call it, thing in order to make us greater warriors. The truth is, guys, that people were just much better warriors back then. And guys, I'm sorry if people who live in first world countries have the worst genes. I'm sorry, guys. It's just a fact. You know, we can say all we want about it, but it's just true. So, yeah. So I just wanted to say that. And everybody, I hope you're having a blissful, wonderful, fabulous rest of your day. Cheers.